up, guys? Welcome back. Today we are going to be bringing in the LMM and pulling the trans out. Reason being is if you follow along with the videos, you've seen I was having some problems with the converter. Something's not right. It comes out of the hole super lazy. We're having issues spooling. So Garen went ahead and sent us two new stators to try out. Hopefully the first one we put in is good. We don't have to pull it back out and put another one in, along with a refresh kit, because this weekend we're taking this thing Saturday to the track, try and push the stock bottom end far. I like to get 650s out of it, and if it stays together, sweet, but I would like to try and push it as far as possible, and if that means it blows up, it blows up. Again, it's only a $500 short block, and it's nothing special. So if it blows, it blows. The built motor is in here, ready to rock whenever that may be. But if we got 650s out of that thing, out of an unknown mileage LOI short block, I'll be pumped. So let's get this thing in. Let's get this converter out. Let's go take it over to Logan at Diesel Unlimited. He's going to zip the bolts out, refresh it because it is a bolt together, and we're going to get it back in the truck. Hopefully the first stator we try works perfectly. It isn't too loose or it isn't too tight. And Saturday we'll get to the track. Let's get this thing pulled in. Let's get that trans out. Let's go. Trans is out, converter is draining. Once that's drained, put it in the truck and take it over to Diesel Unlimited. Got the converter done. We're heading back to put it in. This is kind of like a test dummy at this point. This is a one-of-one converter. Garen sent us two different stators to try out, one being a DL stator and one being an X stator. Kind of had to make a sense of judgment call, and we went with the X, just by like the number of the fins, and just by looking at it, it seemed like the X was the way to go. It had the same amount of fins. It had 15, I believe, just like the one that came out of it. And the DL had, I think, like 18 fins. Just the way the DL looked, I just feel like we just felt like it wasn't going to work well, and we went with the X. So we're a test dummy here. It's basically a hybrid converter at this point. It's a J converter with an X stator. Clutches look perfect. Fluid was perfect. There was no burning smell or anything like that in the converter. Converter didn't essentially die. But we're still something isn't right there. The way the truck comes out of the hole is just like blah. So we're hoping that this helps, kind of like tightens it up a little, and but still spools up fine, and it's not too tight or it's not too loose. So we'll see when we get it back in how it is. Essentially it should be a little bit tighter, but we'll see. We won't know until it gets into the truck, and I go for a test hit tonight and see how it spools up and see how it launches. I'm not necessarily worried about spool up as I am how it launches. I could always use nitrous to spool it up, even though I shouldn't have to. Granted, it is 90-some degrees, so it's not going to come up on the charger instantly, but using nitrous to spool up anyway is a lot easier on the converter, and the converter was not shot. So we're going to try this stator out, see what we got. And worst case scenario, we got to pull it right back out and swap the other stator in it. Garen's very intrigued to see how this is going to work. so are we. This is a one of one. There's no other converters that are like this. There's no other hybrid Garand converter out there besides ours in the Duramax world. So try this out, pray for the best, and then if it works out, we'll go to the track Saturday and try and shoot for a serious pass with a stock bottom end. So let's get this thing in, and let's go make a hit. Pro tip, guys, when you're putting Allison in, make sure your dials are in the rear cover. If not, you'll have a serious issue. You need these dials in. And second of all, always make sure before I put the trans in that the oval hole is at the starter hole, because you get start here, tighten it up, and go all the way around. Versus if you start on a circular hole, you gotta leave it loose and go all the way around before you can fully tighten it. So always start at the oval hole. However, a lot of aftermarket flex plates do not have the oval hole, so you gotta do one at a time and go all the way around, then you get tighten them. But if you have the oval one, start the oval, tighten it up, you're good to go all the way around. Let's get this Allison in. Boom. Made it to the track, got to keep it pretty quick because cars are going on the track and it is very loud. But we're going to throw the bottles in. This converter's a little tight, but it does hit pretty hard. Brought 2 nitrous bottles today. We plan on pushing this engine far. If it does 650s or better, I'm pumped. We don't know what it's going to do. Just a 105 jet in to start with and go from there. So let's get this bottle in. I think it has a small one in it because that was only a 730 pass. So pull this out and see what we got. That definitely wasn't a 105. I don't know why I thought there was a 105 in it. It's a 46 jet. So yeah, we're putting a 105 in it. Out there, I think it does have a blown head gasket though, because it is puking coolant, so that's not good. Now the 105 jet in it, it was puking some coolant, so we're going to put the overflow in a water bottle and zip tie it up out of the way. And a bottle versus on the track, because I definitely don't want to get kicked out, because I'm trying to make a good pass here. So rig this up so it stays in there.
We'll tie it right there.
flawlessly. Head gaskets are blown, coolant everywhere. I sprayed 2 kits of nitrous through it, and it still only went 690. A 105 jet and a 40 jet. Back to the drawing board. The truck is hurt. I went out there with plans, with intentions of destroying this engine. I didn't necessarily completely destroy it like I wanted to. I wanted to really chuck a rod out the block, to be honest. But head gaskets had other plans. First pass, like you guys seen, it's our puke and coolant. I put a water bottle in for the overflow. That way I didn't leak anything on the track. But I already had hurt at that point. We go up for the second pass. It's 60 foot, amazing. It's ready for a serious pass. Coolant temp was at 240 degrees. And at that point, there was, I wasn't gonna stop. And it derated the engine. Pulls timing, I'm pretty sure, been an amazing pass because that 60 foot felt so good. So that hybrid converter that we put together, that Garen sent us the different stators to try out, that first stator we tried worked flawlessly. It feels really good on the street. It's a little on the tight side, but I'm extremely happy with that. Pretty sure on that pass is when it bent the rods because I could start it up and it takes absolutely forever to fire. It cranks and 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 cranks until it fires. And it decompressed itself. I decompressed it. I sprayed a 105 jet in it on top of a 40 jet. You could see in the video, I hurried up and reached down for my second kit. We hurt the engine. I tried putting fresh coolant and thermostats in it because I wanted to make it to a dirt track this weekend to finish the engine off pretty much, but it's just not happening. I topped it off. Everything looked good. Got all the air out of the system, and as soon as I drove it, coolant temp shot straight up to 240, puke coolant, then it got to 250, that's it. Idle engine overheated, and got back and coolant was everywhere. So that engine's toast. I can't lift the cab to do a head gas on it because it has a cage now. So I'm not going to even bother pulling the engine, do head gas on it, and it's just not worth it, and it's not worth the time for me to pull it apart and put head gas on our heads or whatever I may have to do. Plus, it had bent rods. It's just pointless. Time to get that engine out, time to get the built motor in, and just have fun with the truck. Now that we got a good 60 foot out of it, guys, it's looking promising. We got the 300s dialed in. They look pretty clean going down the track now. I'm extremely, extremely, extremely happy with the direction we're going now. Granted, I hurt this engine, but I already had the intentions of doing that. So I'm not mad. I'm more mad at the fact that it didn't lay down a solid pass while doing this. But again, you can't really make a solid pass when your coolant temp is pegged at 270. That's what it was on that last pass. The gauge was completely pegged. And the edge monitor said 270 degrees. So, yeah, you can't do much no, it's just not going to happen. So, it was a hot day. DA was like 3,500. It was probably 90 some degrees. I think it was 90 some degrees. It was humid as hell. You couldn't even stand outside without sweating. It was that bad. So, it went 690s, and, that'll be the last pass of that stock engine we'll ever do. So rest in peace to that engine. It was $500. Whip-de-doo. Throw it in the trash. Actually, engine probably still be good, so I maybe I'll put like LBZ rods in it and keep it as a backup, which is a good idea. So that's what I'll do. We'll get the built motor in. Today we have a dirt drag coming up, but the four-wheel drive stopped working in my tow rig. The transfer case, it engages to the transfer case, but I guess the fork and the transfer case decided to break or whatever, I don't know. So I'm going to pull the transfer case out of the red truck, put it in that one, and we'll go racing. So hopefully that's another video for you guys. That'll be coming after this one's posted. And yeah, stay tuned. We're going to get this built motor in this thing. There's a lot of other things I'm going to do differently. I'm going to negate the turbo setup. The turbo has to be sent out to be refreshed. I did notice the turbo wheel is hitting the compressor cover, so that is not good. There's a lot of things we got to go over on the truck before we just slap an engine in it and go out there and make some passes. So it'll all be coming in upcoming videos, guys. So please stay tuned. Big things are coming. It's working its way to be a serious LMM. So guys, if you haven't, please like, please subscribe, and leave any comments you may have. I'll see you guys hopefully next video. We're doing a couple rounds in the black truck. So all right guys, see ya.